Okay, we're recording. We are on live.
Okay, great. So everybody watch your language. Christian Broadcasting Station.
Yeah, Samara has to come by here when she comes home to get my lighting right and to make my green screen work for me.
I will.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's that class of 91. You know, they were a little bit more technical savvy than we were.
Yes, they were a lot more technical savvy. And I did remember to hit public this time, James. So
okay, because
last week we were trying to figure out why we got no one looking, and it because me only.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
and I found out, Leah, that it's hard to get us on our YouTube channel unless we go through Zoom.
Okay, well, I am recording on YouTube as well, on Zoom as well.
Okay, so I'll be able to switch that to our YouTube channel. Y'all gonna be on YouTube, y'all.
Okay.
And remind people to please go to the YouTube page and subscribe. We need subscribers, please.
Yes.
We need likes and we need subscribers, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What I see, I see people viewing it, but they're not hitting that.
Hit the
right. Subscribe button.
It takes a lot to get us to a point where we can get some favors from YouTube. So
yeah,
we have a long way to go, but we'll get there. But it's the more videos you have on there, the better the opportunity is for you to have more subscribers.
Just said to you we were on. Or do you hear anything, Slim?
Oh yeah, I do. Okay, so we're on the radio.
Okay.
All right. Every day we ride is a great day to be alive, and welcome to the Seven Cities Forums of Hampton Roads presents Portsmouth Coffee Talk right here on WGPL 1350 AM on your dial. And welcome everybody. I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter. You had a chance to spend with family in a safe way. And if you had an Easter egg hunt, hope you're enjoying those eggs. I think a lot of the kids now don't use actual eggs. They look for money in the plastic eggs.
Exactly.
Anyway, we want to welcome everyone to our radio listeners as well as our Facebook Live listeners. And this morning, we are pleased, I guess you see, a lot of us sporting our IC Norcom gear. And
yes,
that is because our guests today are members of the IC Norcom Alumni Association, Inc. Is it Inc.?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Incorporated.
I want to leave that off. The IC Norcom Alumni Association, Inc. And we have the president, Lynn, Briley. And we have one of the hosts of, co-chair, I guess I can say co-chair of the fundraising committee.
Yes.
And that's Samara.
Samara.
Yes.
Leathers. And she's
she said you have to say that Montgomery, James. You got to say that Samara Montgomery Leathers.
I honored someone named Montgomery a few months ago.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
But anyway, we're going to get started. And since Leah's here and she was a president, one of the presidents of the IC Norcom Association, we're going to let her start off the conversation.
Well, I tell you, I am excited to have Lynn Briley and Samara Montgomery on, in as much as Lynn was my classmate and Samara was my daughter's classmate. So I have a double bit of pride here this morning. But we're so happy to have Lynn and Samara on and representing the IC Norcom High School. Norcom is one of the few remaining African-American schools which was built primarily for African-American students to attend. And the Alumni Association started in 1982. Helen Edge met with a group of her fellow, I think 1958 graduates in her living room.
57, 58, yeah.
And they developed the IC Norcom Alumni Association. So it's been here since 1982. They were formally chartered in 1983. And we have been consistently in existence since that time. And I think we're one of the few high school alumni associations that has been around for a long time. There are some that are springing up now, but we've been around for a very long time. And it gives me great pride, of course, to introduce Lynn Briley, the current president, and Miss Samara Montgomery, the fundraising. I'm just so glad to see the class of 1991 taking part, because for a while there, we didn't know if we will continue to be in existence, because most of the classes that participated were from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and that was it. So it's glad to see the class of 1991 coming aboard, and prayerfully, they will bring more young people in so that the organization can continue to exist. Now, a little bit about the history there. So now, Lynn Briley, why don't you share with us what your goals are and what your plans are for the Alumni Association?
Yes, thank you, Leah, and good morning to all of you. I'm extremely delighted to be here representing the IC Norcom Alumni Association. And as we have been around a long time, and we have been actively reaching out to our younger alums to participate so we can continue the legacy of this organization. We are a great organization that has a lot of influence in the city of Portsmouth, the broader community of Hampton Roads, and especially with the administration and students of IC Norcom High School. Our goals are basically to promote fellowship among the alumnus of IC Norcom High School. We want to be involved in any of the decisions that are made that impact the school and the community. We just want to be aware and support the administration of the school. And of course, a lot of our activities entail fundraising, because without funds, we cannot support the school and the activities that the students engage in. So we are a fundraising organization, and especially support scholarships for post-secondary studies for the students of IC Norcom High School. It's not just college or four-year colleges, community colleges, career and technical schools. When students have a need and they and their family don't have the resources, we come to the Alumni Association to help out. So that's mainly what our goals are, but we participate in homecoming activities. We also organize one of the grand reunions. I don't know if any other high school has a grand reunion like IC Norcom High School. Every 5 years, we try to plan a gathering of all classes so that we can have some nostalgia, remember the good old days, and continue with the legacy of IC Norcom High School. But it all entails fundraising. And so we're here today to talk about some plans for fundraising. And we hope that we can get the support of the community in this effort.
Thank you, Lynn Briley. And Samara, you are a newcomer to the Alumni Association, and we're just so thankful that you have chosen to be a part of the organization. And you have come with some ideas for we haven't had a fundraiser in some time because of COVID.
Right.
And we do need to raise money for scholarship for these young people who we try to assist as they move on into their second phase of their lives. So Samara, what are some of the ideas that you're bringing to the Alumni Association?
Well, I want to say good morning. Thank you so much for having me as well as Ms. Briley on. But yes, I am excited to be a part of the Alumni Association. I think one of the blessings that COVID happened to bring is the virtual platform. And so that allowed me to be able to be a part of the meetings. And so I sat in on a meeting, and it was discussed that we were having challenges this year with raising money due to COVID. And one thing that we know, our students will graduate this year, and they do need funds. So I was thinking, what can we actually do? It's a challenge because everything is virtual now. We really can't be together in body. But just thinking about, we had discussed the Double Good fundraiser, the Double Good popcorn, which has been going around. And most organizations have been seeing success with that. So that is one thing that we were discussing. Another thing that we were discussing is we know that old school raffles back in the day, but they have virtual raffles now that are extremely popular, and it operates the same way. The only difference is it's virtual, and you download. You don't have to download anything really. You just send a link out to all of your family and friends, and it allows you to just click and get your tickets, and it operates the same way. You pull at a certain point of time. At the end, we pull to find out who wins, and the only difference is the item that you win is mailed to you. So we have, just some things that we want to implement. And I was talking to Ms. Briley. I told her, I don't like to necessarily put all eggs in one basket with one fundraiser. It's good to have little things here and there. Hopefully, when they all come together, we'll have a substantial amount of money to give to the scholars of Norcom.
Wonderful.
Yeah, let me add, before we move on, I want to add a little bit of history because we're always about history, about one of our guests. And I believe I'm correct on this as far as Lynn Briley is concerned, as a principal at IC Norcom. Were you not the first principal at IC Norcom that actually attended IC
Yes.
Norcom?
Yes, when I was assigned to be principal at IC Norcom High School, I was a couple of firsts. I was the first female principal. Traditionally, the principal of Norcom was a man. And that's the way we thought about it. I became the first female principal, as well as the first alumni principal. I attended the school and became principal of the school that I attended. And it was a double honor for me. And I served for 7 years, enjoyed every minute of it.
And I remember hearing that and being quite surprised at the long history of Norcom. And I thought before then, all the principals we had, at least one of them had attended IC Norcom. You stepped in there. And what year was that? Because that was
2005, 2006, around that area. Remember, the previous principal had passed, Mr. Taylor. Yes. I never expected to even be assigned. I was a middle school principal at the time, and Mr. Taylor died. He had been ill, and then they asked if I would consider, if I would apply, and I, with the mindset, well, only men have been principal in Norcom. Why would I want that position? But I did apply for the position with some encouragement. And of course, Bernard Griffin was chairman of the school board at the time. I think that helped a little.
But it helped, but you were qualified to be in that position. So
yeah, yes, I was. Yeah.
And, I just wanted to bring up that little bit of history. And I wanted to bring in the Colonel here because to see him, he's the only one that doesn't have on the Norcom gear. Attend a good high school over in Chesapeake, Western Branch High School. And it looks like, wasn't that Western Branch colors that you have on? I mean, weren't their colors blue and something like that?
No.
He has on his coffee talk shirt.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But yes, I am a Western Branch Brewing alumni. I'm proud of it. Yes. But I do have ties to IC Norcom. One, my wife is a graduate of IC Norcom.
All right, you married well.
Yeah, married well, yes. And my sister-in-law, Darlene Butler, taught there and just retired.
Yes,
we know Darlene.
We know Miss Butler. She was a member of my staff. Yes.
Yes, that's my sister-in-law. And matter of fact, I grew up in Cedar Grove, and the late Mr. Norcom lived 3 doors down from me.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I do have ties to IC Norcom.
Yes.
But You know, as one of the things I've always was impressed with IC Norcom because they were the first, I believe the first, and actually the only one that had a technical program that my wife went through to got her LPN license through that in high school. And that was a pathway through through K-12 education that actually allowed folks to come out here and get a job the day after they got their diploma. And I think that's more needed today than at any time in our nation's history. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely, I agree. And I think that they're trying to go back to that concept of a high school diploma and a certificate for a specific career.
Yes.
With the technical career aspect of IC Norcom High School. We're getting back to that. I think the school board is considering that. Because those were great days at Norcom when you had electricians and you had certificates for food service, and students leaving high school and getting good paying jobs with those.
And I think it raised better citizens because the kids could see something past their high school. Not everybody was ready to go to college. And so, but if I can come out and I got my certificate, I'm ready to go out in the labor force.
Right.
Yeah. And it was also primary because I look at my own wife, you know, she went to ODU, got her baccalaureate in nursing, and now she's picked up a couple masters and you know, it's a lifelong learning. And that technical program that she went to is a stepping stone to the future.
Right.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
You know, and also we mentioned also that while Lynn was principal, twice we went to the Steve Harvey's Hoodie Awards.
Yes.
And we went against such large schools like Cass Tech, in Detroit. This year we were runner-ups, but the second time we came back with all trophies in hand. Norcom High School won Best High School at the Steve Harvey Hoodie Award.
Yeah, that showed you how far-reaching the legacies of Norcom and how far-reaching the alumni Norcom, because it was an online voting that got us there. Again, Steve Harvey, I know it was about entertainment, but he had a national campaign of best community organizations. He was honoring community organizations, especially African American communities, churches, and schools was one of them. Small business owners, and we were nominated 4 times, Leah. We were nominated these 4 times.
Exactly.
And in 2010, we won the best high school award. And we did beat out Cass Tech, which was the premier school at the time. They would win all the awards, but that was an honor.
Yeah, just the Norcom name, you know, I have a story. And when I was on the bus in 72, riding past Norfolk State on my way to Virginia Union, Norfolk State on that bus and went to Virginia Union. And when I get there, at that time, Virginia Union had a freshman basketball team. They didn't have a girls team at the time. And they had a freshman basketball team. Didn't go there to play, but my roommate convinced me to go out for the team. I said, okay. So I met with the coach. He said, well, what high school did you go to? I said, well, I went to IC Norcom. Oh, okay. Well, you're on the team. He had no idea. But anyway, just telling him I went to Norcom, you know, I didn't even have to try out. I was on the team automatically. But that's just a story saying how far-reaching Norcom and its tradition goes as far as, you know, and how it can open doors.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask this question. I know the Alumni Association does a lot of fundraising, and we see you all at the football games and sacrificing, even watching the games because you're out there selling, you know, trying to raise that money. How involved are you all in the school board issues and the issues that go on with the school board? You know, do you all keep up with that, or is that something you discuss in your meetings? I know it sort of runs into politics, but mostly it's policy. So
Right, I understand. Yeah.
how involved
Yeah.
is the alumni association?
Yeah, I think that a few years ago, because we had so many members of the Alumni Association in high political positions, you had the mayor, you had vice mayors, you had school board chair, you had all of these, the city treasurer. We had members of the Alumni Association or IC Norcom graduates who held very high positions, or the city registrar. And so a lot of times they participated in decision-making or policy-making for the city. We don't have as many in those positions anymore. We just want to be informed. If they want us to participate, we will do so. But I think that now we have pretty much drifted away from being part of the policy-making and decision-making parts of the city or the board. And we want to be more supportive as long as we are informed. I have a good relationship with the administration of IC Norcom High School. If they want the Alumni Association to participate or to help them raise funds, we are willing, ready, and able to do so. But as far as being involved in a lot of the politics, we are beginning to drift away from that and help support school students in the activities that enhance the educational experience of the schools.
Yeah, that's why I segued from politics to policy.
Right.
Policy is more important. And when you get into the politics, that can be a ball. But anyway, I just wanted to know how involved y'all were there.
Let's get back to how you plan to get these people involved, Samara and Lynn, and help them to realize that we do need to raise those funds for those students. How can we get them involved? I know Samara knows all this virtual stuff, and help us.
You know what, Leah, that's exactly why I'm trying to get more and more younger alum involved.
Yes.
They are social media savvy.
Yes, they are.
And I'm brain dead when it comes to social media. This is how you're going to reach the alumni, the population of people that can be more support. It's through social media. Facebook and all of the Twitter, and we're trying to enhance our effectiveness, but we need the younger people to help us. So Samara, and then I've called Karen Britt and other people who have these social media platforms to help us do so. So Samara can get into more detail.
Well, that was how I ended up finding out. Karen Britt put on her page pretty much a call for alumni, especially all classes. If you represented your class, hit me up, because the Alumni Association pretty much needs members from all classes. So that's how I became more involved. And I was like, oh, okay, let me go ahead on and hit her up. And social media these days can blow up any organization. So you have IG, which is Instagram, you have Twitter, we have different accounts. So the goal with, hopefully the goal for us, especially for the month of April, is to push through social media what we want to do. And it was those three things as far as the raffle is concerned, as far as the popcorn fundraiser. But one thing that I neglected to say is we want to have a big old school walk, the Greyhound walk around. That's what we hope to have at the end. And with that, we hope to get people registered and have a walk around for the scholars. Again, everything that we generate, we want to put for the scholarship fund. So again, everything that we're talking about, we hope to put on social media. And the advantage with social media is my group of people is going to be different than your group of people. And once it's shared and everyone shares and shares alike, and if we all have hundreds of followers or hundreds of friends on Facebook, and that's the thing. Most people now, I know you all are hooked on Facebook, but most people are moving toward IG, and especially, and I must admit, I'm getting hooked on it, my new social media platform right now.
Don't say TikTok.
TikTok. And
See, I don't,
with TikTok is initially I thought TikTok was just a bunch of young kids putting videos up and dance videos, but it's really more than that. I noticed that there are artists up there that actually display how, especially African American artists, displaying how they actually do the art, and it intrigues you. So you're intrigued for a minute, and they're selling it. So they're blowing up their business just by using TikTok, and it's different. Everybody has a different niche. If you cook, then you're up there showing different short versions of how you might want to cook dinner tonight. People take that and they blow that up. So, I know social media can be ever so changing. And so you kind of got to go with the flow. And some people, their thing is Facebook. Some people is Instagram. Others are Twitter. And now we have TikTok. But once we put out what we want to do across all mediums, we hope to generate all classes, especially from, I was in the band at Norcom. So, you have the band, which is extremely strong. Then you have the cheerleader association, you have the cheerleaders. Then let's not talk about the football and the basketball. And this is not just for the alumni. We want the students, to get back involved as well.
Yes.
Raising money and funds. So the Greyhound walk around, we hope that we get individuals to participate. Let's have a socially distanced walk. It'll be outside at the end. We hope to have music and just bring your own lunch. And we just get back to things getting back to normal.
And it's been such a long time since we've been able to get together. So prayerfully, when we plan that walk around, it would be good to have all of the classes to come together and just socialize and just love on each other, which we haven't had a chance to do for such a long time.
Yes.
Can we stop for just one moment? Because we need to honor someone on this morning. James, is it okay to
walk around?
Walk around?
With an emphasis on walk.
And not run, right?
It'll be walk.
Or some of us, it'll be roll around.
Some of us will be walkers around.
That's for sure.
Greyhound coming all ways, sides, shapes, and size.
And plus, Samara, maybe we at Coffee Talk need to hire you so you can teach us how to get further on social media, because we seem to be stuck on Facebook. We are getting to YouTube, but we're going to have to try some of those other mediums as well. But can I take a moment right now to speak about someone? It is my honor this morning to talk about a lady who was very, very special in my life, who really was my mentor, my friend, and that's City Councilwoman Marlene Randall. We lost her this past week. And Marlene, a longtime former educator, born in October 18th, 1934 in Portsmouth, Virginia. After graduating from high school, Marlene earned her BS degree in elementary education from Virginia State University. She also received her MA degree in early childhood education from Columbia University in 1960. She continued her education to receive her advanced certificate in administration from the University of Virginia and her advanced certificate in administration and supervision from Old Dominion University. In addition, Marlene received her certificate to advanced studies from Nova University. She began her teaching career in the Portsmouth Public School System. She went on to become treasurer for her church and community in action, working to improve the quality of life in citizens in Portsmouth. She also worked as secretary for Area 2 of the NAACP, which includes Portsmouth, Norfolk, Chesapeake, and Suffolk, Virginia. She also created the pattern for the pairing of schools, staff, and students that led to the integration of Portsmouth Public Schools in 2002. Randall was elected to the Portsmouth City Council, where she served 3 consecutive terms. She was a guest speaker at Tidewater Community College Black History Month celebration. She has also been recognized by the National League of Cities for attaining the platinum level in its Certificate of Achievement in Leadership program. This is the highest level of achievement that one can attain in the state. She's also been the chairwoman of Virginia's First Cities and appointed first by former Governor Tim Kaine to the Criminal Justice Services Board. She was married to our beloved Vernon Randall, and she has 3 children. Here, help me now, Vernon Jr.,
Veronica,
and come on, y'all, help me, my baby. How can I forget my baby's name?
The baby.
Oh, it's a senior moment.
Yeah.
But we, and Michelle. And amazingly enough, just before Marlene passed, when we were at Lakeview Elementary School, I had sent Michelle a note asking her to kiss my baby for me. And then the next day is when I learned that she had passed. So today we are very honored to be able to honor none other than our very own Marlene Randall.
Yes, indeed. And I had a personal relationship with her too, going back to my childhood. And, you know, when we were growing up, a lot of us had names that we had then that weren't used as we got older. And mine was my middle name, Anthony. And she was one of the few people that still called me Anthony and did it from the city council. She was addressing me and everybody look around, who is Anthony? And I was privileged also to be her last campaign manager or her last run for campaign manager. Yeah. And that's an interesting story. The teachers that came out of HBCUs during her time, you remember, in order to further their education, the schools in this area would not accept African Americans or Blacks, but schools up north accepted our teachers in order to get their masters and everything, which in turn made helped our teachers coming back here to be more educated than the white teachers.
That's right. That's right.
So they were trying to shut us out, but in turn, it turned around. They got better educated, you know, because those schools they went to paid for their education. You know, they were.
You know, Slim, there was I learned about this, and I was wondering why a lot of our educators got their degrees from Columbia University, and they did, because Virginia would not allow postgraduate work for African Americans at traditionally white schools.
Wow.
I went to one of those white schools.
Yeah,
the state government restricted that, but they would pay the tuition for you to go to a school in the north. You couldn't go to a traditional white school in Virginia, but they paid your tuition to go to Columbia University. Wow. And that's why a lot of our teachers
at that time, our HBCUs didn't have, you know,
They didn't have those graduate degrees, yes.
Right, but they do now, thank God.
They do, yes.
Thank you.
But let me, Colonel, I think it's time for you to do your thing.
Yes, I got 2 things, but I got to get a commercial break in here first. And for those who are out there in electronic land, if you like what you're hearing, this organization at Hampton Road 7 Cities Forum is looking for either donations or partnerships that you can send to us at P.O. Box 7664, Portsmouth, Virginia 23707. And you can hit us up on the email to tell us how we're doing or what you'd like to see, and Slim will give you that. But before he does that, I want to tell Leah one thing, that as I was listening to the accomplishments of her, it's not just her loss, it's everybody's loss.
It is.
And I summarize it by one, when the St. Peter rings the bell and it's time to go home, and they open the book and they ask, what did you do with your time on earth? And just that little montage of things that you talked about, her accomplishments, and you could see that she has affected many, many generations of people.
That's true.
And so then you really can say that was a life well lived.
Well lived, yes.
Yes. So I just have to say that.
Yes, thank you, Colonel. Appreciate that. And that email is HR7citiesforums@yahoo.com. And we have about 6 minutes left before we leave the radio, but we will continue on Facebook. So I just want to thank all the radio listeners on WGPL 1350 now for listening. So we won't interrupt our conversation as we continue on, and the bishop will come on and end the radio program whenever he comes in to do that. But anyway, we want to thank you all, and please listen next week, as our guest will be Vice Mayor DeAndre Bonds. Okay, so we can continue on with our conversation. So whichever host wants to continue the conversation, please do so.
Well, you know what, Slim, I'll take it from there. Lynn and Samara, you know, one of the good things, you know, you talk about raising money, but I think the real impact that you have is on this generation that is in school now, because they see you as mentors. And as you look at the Alumni Association and they see you and see all of you, they're seeing success. And we have to paint those stories for our youth to say, yes, there is life after this. You get your high school education, and then you can set your dreams to a higher calling to see what you're going to do in the future. And so I have to give my props and give a hand clap to both of you for what you're doing and what you've done in the past, what you're doing now, and what you're going to keep doing in the future, because I know you're going to continue this great quest to what you're doing, and I call it a quest.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Thank you.
You know, and I want to also ask the both of you as well. I'm getting a lot of people who are asking me about paying electronically. What are you planning to do in order to make this available to those individuals who are not in the area? And people don't tend to take the time to put a postage stamp on an envelope anymore and mail anything off. So what are we planning to do in order to make it more advantageous for those individuals who are not living locally to pay their dues, first of all? And the dues are how much now, Lynn?
It's $25. $25 annual dues.
And you get a lifetime membership for?
A lifetime membership is $400, and you can pay it in installments.
Mm-hmm. So what are we going to do in order to make it advantageous for those individuals who are out of town to pay their dues or to participate in the fundraisers electronically?
That's definitely a plan. I wanted to, it makes it, so now people pay with Cash App, and you also have Venmo, and I know we have Zelle, and then we have PayPal. And that's one of the things that Ms. Briley and I are going to connect with. And what makes it challenging is when you set those things up, typically it's set up to a phone number, and the phone number links to a bank account. Well, the association is associated with a P.O. box. And so we have to figure out a way, and it is a way, but figure out a way to incorporate that, because that is one thing that I believe once we jump that hurdle, it's going to allow more funds to be generated quicker, I should say. So with the virtual platforms for the fundraising that I've looked at that we're going to use, that's going to allow us to wean ourselves in that direction. And when we use a virtual platform such as the one that we're using for the fundraiser, people can go to that platform and they can pay via Visa or MasterCard or whatever. But that app is a medium. It's the happy medium right now. And so hopefully once we get into the swing of things, we'll hop that hurdle. And once we hit Cash App, that's it. Because that is, that's key. You know, Cash App is just 2 clicks away. And a lot of younger generations, that's what we do. That's what we do. That's the fastest way to get it. I know up here, I'm a band booster for my son's high school in the band. And when we have fundraisers, you know, we just are literally in the crowd, and people are, hey, what's your Cash App? Boom, there it is right there. So That's another thing. So, you know, I think it's baby steps. And so we're going to start off with these fundraisers, with the virtual fundraiser, with the raffle, and with the Greyhound walk around with registering. And hopefully next year we'll be on several platforms so that others from everywhere, like you said, will be able to help in whichever way they want. I'm sorry, Riley, did you have something else to say?
No, we're fine.
I
That
just want
is a
to,
challenge with the younger generation. Nobody writes checks anymore.
No, they don't. They don't know how to write checks.
Exactly, don't know how to do it.
Right.
So the Alumni Association has thought about that. We do have PayPal, and we have a website, and it's not used that much because we've had some difficulty with it. But we need to get into the Cash App and all these other forums for paying virtually. And I want to remind everyone that we are having an alumni meeting tomorrow. We meet the first Tuesday of every month. Now we have been meeting virtually on Zoom, and the information is posted on our Facebook page. So Leah, I know you posted, if you could repost it. Just a reminder that you can link with the alumni meeting tomorrow at 7 o'clock, first Tuesday of every month. And there we have a Zoom ID and a passcode. So we can get that reposted.
Okay, and I'm getting some questions here on Facebook. Our mentor Richardson Harris writes, Samara, how much is being requested? And I will pass the information to the class of 90. So I'm hoping that more of the classes will reach out to us here on the old school way, Facebook, or with Samara, but we want the classes. We want to challenge all the classes. And I'm glad to see you're willing to get the class of 90 involved.
Yes. Hey, man, I'm glad she's looking.
And I'm also getting a question about how much are dues for students?
You know, we don't even have a student fee program. I think we allow students, if you're currently a student, you can get involved in our activities.
Right.
I think we have what's called an honorary membership.
Right.
We have an honorary membership. And if you're a student still in high school, you have no membership fee. The fee is for alum, those who have graduated, who have been, who are friends of Norcom. We have a $15 Friends of Norcom, but we don't have a membership fee for currently enrolled students.
And it does not exclude the students from participating.
Oh, not
should
at
they
all.
want to participate in the alumni
Not at all.
association.
Not at all.
Right.
That's how we grow.
That's right.
Student participation.
I have a question, ladies. Just clearing up that lifetime membership. If you're going to go that route, you have to indicate that's where you're going, right?
Exactly. Yes.
I think a lot of people might think if they sign up at a football game, that automatically those $25 yearly they're paying automatically accumulates into a lifetime membership, but that's not the case. You have to indicate.
You have to indicate that you are
that you're going for that lifetime
membership with the first installment toward the $400 fee. Yes, this will be indicated on a form. You get a certificate when you have a lifetime membership.
And that doesn't mean you stop financially supporting.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No, it doesn't.
Can you go back to our mentor's question, her question? I heard you ask the question. I couldn't.
Yeah, well, she was trying to see how much is being requested. I don't think that's been established yet. And she could, because once you establishes that, she would like to share it with the class of 1990.
Yeah, what is
definitely. I'm going to definitely share it on my page. Karen's going to put it on her page. The goal for the popcorn fundraiser is and I know some people might say, oh, that's so much, but hopefully if each person can have a goal of 500, that would be great. Because remember, we typically raise, and Ms. Briley, you correct me if I'm wrong, minimum 10,000 that's typically the goal per year for the scholarship fund, right?
That's
So,
correct. Yeah.
so we're right here, pushing, trying to raise as much money as we can. So if people had a number, and I know I work better when I have a number for the popcorn fundraiser for individuals, it would be nice if we could get at least 10 people from each class, at least 10 people. That would be great. 5 would be good. And if we get 1, that's great. But if we have numbers and we have goals, that helps us. So Arminta, with your class, if you could get 10 people that is willing to do this double good fundraiser, and if we could get at least $500 raised by each person with each class, and you look at it, Norcom has a very strong alumni association that stretches not just from my mom's class all the way, from back in the 50s, all the way up to current, those individuals that even graduated last year. So if we can get individuals to participate that way, and even on the virtual raffle platform, the raffle tickets will be going for different prices. And again, that's something that can be shared through our social media handles and just with our friends in our cell phone. So I'll have specifics that I'll be posting on my social media platforms, and we will get it out that way. We want to use April as a month of just having a social media frenzy with getting everything out and trying to gain as many followers as we can so that we can have as much money generated as we can for these scholars that are graduating.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that the Alumni Association is meeting tomorrow night virtually at 7 o'clock. And I will repost it. Samara will repost it. We all repost it so that you all can attend, so you can hear about the goals and what the plans are for the Alumni Association.
Yes.
So,
and also, they'd like to mention this giving, the April is giving month, but we also stress just membership fees.
Mm-hmm.
If you would submit your $25 annual membership fee, and I just count 1,000 alumni in the area that would submit $25, we have $25,000, and we won't need all these fundraisers.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important. And it's important to note that although we have not had any fundraisers, we were still able to give out scholarships this year to students who are graduating from IC Norcom High School.
We still have a scholarship fund, and students are submitting applications now for $1,000 scholarships that we have available. But Rachel Norcom Smith, we know Ms. Smith, in 2006, when I became principal, she came to the school to meet with me, and she gave me a check for $50,000.
Yeah.
And she gave me that check to begin an endowment scholarship fund in the name of her son, Barry Smith. Mm-hmm. So we have given out $2,000 a year, every year, for the Barry Smith Scholarship Fund for students who want to major in science. And that was her desire, and we have done that. So we have a separate endowment for the Barry Smith Scholarship that we give out every year. And then we have a couple of other $1,000 scholarships. But last year we had a partnership with Access College Foundation, and we had given out a $10,000 scholarship for a couple of students, and we followed them for 4 years. That's what we want to continue to do. We want to focus on these $10,000 scholarships, because we fund students every year with that scholarship, not just the first year.
And we've also had some alum who have established scholarships in their names and operating through the Alumni Association as well.
Still do that. That has not stopped. Some alum will give us $500, $1,000, just in their name or the name of a family member to give to a student for book fees and things that they need when they graduate from high school.
And Lynn, I'm glad you mentioned about the $15 for friends of IC Norcom.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of people that come into town and make their residence here and leave their high schools far away, and they adopt IC Norcom. No one was a bigger bigger, adopted Northland, bigger than Dr. Patton.
Right, exactly.
So people need to know if they want to support, and even if they didn't graduate from IC Norcom, that $15 fee,
Membership fee, right, yeah.
membership fee is there for them to be
Exactly.
operating Greyhounds. Yes. Colonel, did you want to jump in there?
Yeah, so I was listening to Samara going through the thing about the $500, but I think for those who are out in electron land, collectively, the goal is $10,000.
Right.
Yes.
We'll just set that as a bottom line, and then those what we call cells can raise what they can to what the overall goal is to get 10,000.
$10,000.
Exactly.
Okay, there. I just want to clarify that,
Yeah.
and you got to just go for it.
Yes, yes.
Yes. To help you out a little bit there.
Thank you.
Yes.
And once again, we'd like to see a competition between these classes. Let's see who is the best class. that
All
graduated.
right, let's see
Although we know that our class was the best class. However, we want to see if any of you all can match up or come up to the standard of our class, okay?
What class was that? 57? Was it 57?
What was that, James?
What class were you talking about? Your class 57?
But let me tell you what, the class of 57 and 58, they were the strongest alumni members that we have had.
Right.
In fact, the organization was established under that class of 57 and 58.
I joke. I know your class was 67.
Yes, indeed.
But you know what? I attend a lot of football games, and us old heads, we be in the stand making more noise than the current.
Right.
And I remember talking to some of those students and just wondering, I said, where's your school spirit? And I guess it's a coolness to them. That's not cool to be making a fool of yourself, some of them. And I said, well, when you graduate, that feeling, that Norcom spirit is going to hit you.
Mhm.
You might not want
That's right.
accept it now, because school is, what it is for you, but it's going to get you somewhere down the road. And I hope that when it does hit you, that you come back or in some way support the school. But I don't know what it is, because we be there just going crazy.
But James, it also goes down to the fact that it's important that we continue to teach the history of the school.
Yes.
Many of the kids who are coming into Norcom now, they don't know the history. Even though their parents may have gone there, they still don't know the history. And they don't know the value in going through a school like IC Norcom. Like they say, you don't know what it takes to be a Greyhound.
Right.
So it's important that we continue to teach the history to our students so they can know about Mr. Norcom and about his dreams and his goals for the students at IC Norcom High School, about how so many times the government has tried to close the school or tried to destroy the school as it is now, but yet the school continues to thrive. And I'm proud to say that I was on the school board that built the new IC Norcom High School, and my name is on the front of the building as a member of the school board. So I am really proud of IC Norcom High School, and I'm proud of the people who passed through those doors. Because I tell the students all the time when I'm there, that heart of that school, you didn't have to put a circle around it. Because you knew you don't step on the heart of the school.
That's right.
But now they got to tie it off because kids walking all across it, so the history is extremely important.
Yeah, I think that knowing the history creates a stronger sense of
It
pride.
does.
Yeah, it's the
To
pride.
have you screaming at those games. And I'm not saying a lot of the students there are really school spirited. And they out there screaming, but I know it's just a lot of them. It's not like, well, nothing is like it was, when we were, if you ask us. But you're absolutely right, Leah.
Yeah, you know what?
History,
Right.
Leah's
correct is that one, if you don't know your history, then you're more prone to that history will be gone and you repeat the same mistakes.
Exactly.
And if you see what's going on in our country, we have a certain segment of society that want to turn back the clock to the 50s.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And, you know, we'd have an ex-president that was basically ran 4 years of only thing different to him, he didn't have a white sheet over himself. So I have to call it like it is. But I look at my own, I was a graduate of Western Branch and in 74, but my class was the second class that was integrated at Western Branch.
Right.
And young kids nowadays don't know that. And so the same thing when you're talking about in IC Norcom, these young kids got to know where you came from.
Exactly.
Where you came.
And the price that was paid in order to maintain what you have. I mean, they had dogs sicked on them. We had to bring in civil rights leaders.
Yeah.
Ben Chavis had to come in to help to fight to save the school. You know, the students, the class of 1991, they also fought to keep the school open. So many times the battle has gone on to keep the school open. And we just got the fight continues to pass that history down.
I can tell this story too, because my first year was spent at Woodrow Wilson. And during that year in 68, they had freedom of choice. So I said, well, let me go see how the other half learns. And went there. And the next year they zoned everybody in Truxton to Norcom. Best thing that ever happened to me and I saw the disparities between the two schools, but the difference to me was the teachers that we had.
Exactly.
We didn't have the same books. We didn't have the same lunches. We had those fish sticks every Friday.
Ooh, fish stick and rolls. Fish stick rolls and mashed potatoes.
Yeah, I wouldn't put the teachers that taught us, they taught outside of those books that we had that were insufficient.
That's right.
And this one incident at Wilson when I was there, the principal, I remember his name, Mr. Powell, called all the men to the auditorium, black and white, and directed his speech towards all the blacks in there, because we were just starting to grow the afros. So he wanted to control how we cut our hair, and actually said we looked like gorillas. We got up and walked out. And it was strange because we were sitting beside a white guy with hair sitting on his shoulders. But, you know, many afros, it was just starting then. He told us we need to cut our hair because we look like gorillas.
Oh,
can you believe that?
The 60s, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
The principal said this.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I never told my dad that because I knew he probably would have.
Oh, you know, Judge Overton would have had something to say about that.
Anyway, when I got to Norcom, I couldn't get there fast enough.
Yeah.
Just wanted to, tell that story. I got a chance to see the disparity between the schools at that time, and it was a big deal. But we came out with a better education, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah.
I know so.
And I know that goes back to the teachers that we had, even with my class, we would fight to keep Norcom open, because even up in the 90s, they were talking about closing the school, and the teachers that we had that would prep us to go down to the school board, and we would speak publicly, and giving us that confidence and helping us after school with what you're going to say and how you're going to say it and how it's relayed to the public. And we would be in, I'll never forget, you remember Maisha, I think she was on the cover of one of the, it was not just Maisha, it was a lot of people from my class being on the cover of one of the newspapers.
Yeah, the Virginia Pilot.
Right, exactly. And so the teachers at Norcom just prepared us so that we knew how to speak publicly, so that we knew how to fight for what we want. And just giving us that confidence. I'll never forget that. And thinking about, just in the 90s, I was like, back then, that's what I'm saying, back then.
Yeah.
We did not go through what you went through. However, we still had challenges with just keeping the school open itself. and us fighting every year because it was always a threat of our school closing. And, going back to what you were saying, Colonel, about the school was a niche. Everybody had a niche. Mine was office specialist. I remember having a girlfriend that was in childcare, and then another one in Mr. Nick's. Most of the guys were in Mr. Nick's technology.
Yeah.
And has prepared us so that when we left Norcom, if you did not go to college, you still had something under your belt that you could fall back on. And even though I ended up going in education, those things that I learned in office specialists with the typing, they got me through college, and a lot of extra money on the side with just typing papers, different papers. So going back to the history, Norcom has a very rich history, and it's funny. My cousin went to Cass, and so every year for Steve Harvey, we would have we would call and say, "All right, let's go." Norcom was gonna get it, but that's how you knew how strong it was, because Steve Harvey is a nationally syndicated program. So to take Norcom, I saw very strong, and Cass is huge. I don't know if you know about that.
Cass is much larger than Norcom.
School. They graduate, at least, I remember one time they had a graduating class of over like 500. And I know our little old itty bitty class was barely making 100 when I graduated, if it was that. But just thinking about the history, and I like sitting on just listening to you all talk, and I'm soaking it all in, because that's a lot. That's a lot. And I'm proud of Norcom. I've always have been. My mother, my uncle went to Norcom, so it's in my blood.
Blood. One of the things I was always proud of as being an athlete on the basketball team, I think we were the only team back then when it was allowed that prayed before every game in the middle of the floor. And I can remember the referees saying, "All right, let's play." Nothing stopped us from, whether we were home or away, middle of the floor and praying and saying, one for one and one for all, victory will be done. I didn't get that right, but it was close to that. And we prayed, and they asked me, what are y'all praying for? We were praying that we wouldn't beat up on the other team.
And the band did that as well. Once they got on the bus, first thing they did was to go into prayer.
That's right.
And you had to sing the alma mater. Yes.
And had to sing the alma mater.
Yes. And
it took me when my granddaughter came down for one of the grand reunions, and she said, "All those old people still know the alma mater." I said, "You got people almost 100 years old can sing that alma mater now."
That's right. And there's plenty of people that graduate and do not know their alma mater song. Don't even have it. But again, if you graduated from Norcom, it's in your blood. You know it. You put that finger up at the end.
That's right.
And everything.
Those traditions, that's what keeps the legacy alive. And that's why the Alumni Association goal is to keep those traditions alive.
Michelle Smith just printed the entire alma mater on her page. But also, Arminta Richardson writes that Mrs. Walton, Mr. Butts, Mr. Twine were determined to bring out the best in me. I love writing in history to this day. Influence matters. And that's so true, Arminta.
Exactly.
So very true.
Good teachers matters.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were good teachers. Good teachers.
That's right.
They were really good teachers.
See, you didn't have a chance to experience Josephine Wimbush and Oliver Page. If you experienced Josephine Wimbush and Oliver Page, you experienced the best of it all.
Or Mr. White.
Oh, Mr. White, yes.
And remember, they were not all African-American teachers. Norcom built a culture. It's the culture that you build.
It's a culture.
It's the culture that you build, whether your teachers are white or black. Yeah. And remember, Norcom during the 80s had almost 50% white students as well.
Exactly.
We built a culture of excellence. And that's the tradition that we need to build on to sustain. That culture of excellence. We don't accept anything less. I remember when I was there, Joe Knight had these little signs put on the doors of the school. This is a no profanity zone. I've been gone for 8 or more years, and those signs are still there.
Mm-hmm.
This is a no profanity zone.
And you
It's
know,
the culture
and
that you
there's
create.
no better person to preach that history to our students than Dr. Joseph Knight.
Right.
He loves Norcom. He is Mr. Norcom, and he preaches it to his students on a daily basis about what it means to be a Greyhound, the pride in the school, to know their alma mater. I would walk into his class and I said, okay, let me hear you all sing the alma mater. He'd make them stand up and sing that alma mater to you. So he really instructs his students and let them know the history of the school and the pride that we all have in the school. So it's a blessing that he's still at Norcom, because he's one of the few Norcom people,
graduates that are still teaching,
who knows the history, because so many teachers don't know the history. They're not teaching the history.
Right.
So we're thankful to have him there, still at IC Norcom High School.
That's why the Alumni Association is so important and was so good. It was started back in '57 because it keeps everything together. We probably still would have had that spirit, but without the Alumni Association, you know, we've probably been going scattered everywhere.
Exactly.
You know, so it's so important to continue to support the alumni, join the alumni, and be involved in the activities when we get back to normal.
Right. And even before we get back to normal, virtually, we need to learn how to do this thing virtually to make it successful. Thankful to the class of 1991.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We're going to make sure we share it. We're going to share it out.
Because this may be the new normal. Although we may be able to come together, I'm sure that Zoom and these other mediums will still be in use because you have people so far away, and it gives everybody a chance to participate in the Alumni Association. So I think it's going to continue. So it's good that we learn all that we can learn while we can.
Yeah. And that was one of the good things I think COVID brought out. You know, just the ability to be able to expand past what we normally see and having those face-to-face meetings. The virtual platform, even if you cooking dinner, you could turn it on and just, you know, listen to what's going on and still be in the loop. You know, that was the one thing that I was missing. I was part of the association, but I could never get home, of course, on a Tuesday because I live in Maryland.
Right.
So, that was, and it's not just me, it's other people as well. You know, it's like, dang, I want to be a part, but, you know, I just can't make those meetings on Tuesdays. So when this happened, I was like, oh yeah, I'm there. We're going to build it up. We're going to build it up.
This is good.
And I think we mentioned that when Dr. Shepard was on maybe a few weeks ago, how it's important for us to recognize the students that are excelling even during the pandemic.
Exactly.
Dr. Knight, he had people in his class that excelled on the SOL. SOL. And other students that are doing well. And, you know, we need to sort of highlight that not only this year, but all years, because, you know, we see so much about our kids and it's a small fraction of the actual students that attend our school, but we see all the negative.
Exactly.
But we don't see all the people that are excelling. And one last question, and I want you all to give information again before we end about how to contact you and all that. But how does the alumni have any way? Do they follow graduates? You know, immediate graduates when they, you know, graduate. Is there any system for that, or it's up to the graduates to come back and sort of make themselves?
Well, we don't have a plan, and a strategy for
that would be kind of hard.
Following, that's something to consider. I have had friend requests from students that have graduated, yes. And we have teachers who continue to communicate with students, and I get all this information about what college they're attending, how well they're doing, what career they're in. And we do get some information, but we don't have a specific strategy or a plan now for follow-up for graduates, unless we connect through social media.
Yeah.
We connect with them through social media.
And
They
maybe
have their Facebook pages. I see what they're doing. They can always access our Facebook page and get information from us, but it's through social media how we can stay in contact with our graduates, especially our scholarship winners. Because I have a scholarship winner from last year, too, that they have communicated with me.
Because they're all over the country doing amazing things.
They are all over.
You know, to highlight some of those, it's kind of encouraging to the present students to see.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you know.
that would be wonderful. Yeah.
But you need more memberships in order to maybe form a committee just for that. So,
Exactly.
so
we
before
need to pay your membership, but we also need you to participate. Participation is extremely important. So your participation is requested, even if you don't join the fundraiser. We just need you there to be a part of what we're trying to do. So.
Okay, Colonel, do you have any last words before we're going to wrap it up here?
No, I'd like to.
Block class, I think she said.
Yes, it is great seeing the both of our two guests, and it's makes me proud that even though I went to Western Branch, I feel like I was a pseudo Norcom graduate.
Yeah, because you married up. You married up. You married up.
Yes, and then just thinking about our history and the things that we went through to get to where we are today.
Exactly.
And as you were talking about some of your teachers there, I was thinking about some of mine, and Mr. and Mr. Watford that lived in trucks.
Yeah.
Prentice Park.
Right.
Prentice Park, yeah. And I was just thinking about her, you know, and Alex died of prostate cancer a few years ago, but I still keep up with his wife. And I can see her today.
Right.
In my mind, and I'm just thinking about the impact of our teachers have on us, and here it is 50 plus years later, and I'm just thankful that they came into my life. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah, listen, Colonel, Michelle just wrote, "Sir, you are an honorary Greyhound."
Yes.
We have some honorary Greyhounds. We have a scholarship that we've had for the past 2 or 3 years from a Deep Creek High School graduate. It was Dr. Brittany Jones Scholarship. She donated $1,000 for 2 or 3 years for a Norcom student because she was a guest at the school and talked to a few of the students, and she was so impressed with the students and their enthusiasm and the questions that they asked that she wanted to fund the scholarship. Now, her husband was a graduate. I can't remember his name, but we honored Dr. Jones at the grand reunion because she just wanted to give to a student that was interested in science. She's a pharmacist from Hampton University. And so we have these connections of students who didn't graduate, of persons who didn't graduate, but are very supportive of IC Norcom High School students.
It's kind of hard if you're outside of or not a graduate of Norcom and you're around some Norcomites to not be impressed by the spirit that we still have 40, 50, 60 years later.
Yes.
You know, I think when we had the last Grand reunion, wasn't it we had a lady that was in her 90s. I don't think she came.
I thought she'd already reached 100.
She was 100.
Yeah.
100. Yeah. She just passed away this last year.
Right.
Lois Einman.
Yes.
Einman. I think.
Yeah, you recognize her. She couldn't travel at that time, but I know she wanted to.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we honored her as being the oldest alumnus at that time. I think she was 103.
Wow. How old is Norcom? 105?
Oh, nope, we're a little
in 2013, we were 100. So what is it? So we're 108 years. Yeah, 108 years, probably. 1913.
Long history.
1913.
1913.
The High Street School, or beyond, before that, the Chestnut Street School.
Chestnut Street School.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies, we want to thank you for being on Portsmouth Coffee Talk this morning. And as I said, if you want to give the information, whatever information you have to our remaining audience, and of course, this will be shown on YouTube and it also be shown on Facebook again. And we'll work on getting some other platforms, making other platforms a part of what we do here.
Yeah, but Samara gets here, we're gonna pick her brains.
Yeah.
If anybody has any questions, you can reach out to me, Samara Montgomery, and I'll give my email, Matecha, MATEACHA @yahoo.com. You can reach out to me there. I also, on Facebook, I am Samara Leathers, Samara Montgomery Leathers on Facebook, and IG, Matecha. So if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me via email. However, I'll make sure I post all the details of all the upcoming fundraisers. I just posted the reminder about the meeting on tomorrow. So again, for all classes, if you are mentor, if you could let your class know as well as any other class, please chime in tomorrow. You know, you don't even have to say anything. Just log in and just listen and get the information. And we love to have you. We love to see you there.
And our mentor just wrote that her parents, that's Reverend Ralph Richardson and his wife, Lynette, they, the class of 73 started a scholarship that remains active, ARC.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Wonderful.
and that she's in the class of 90, Roderick is in the class of 95, and Candace in the class 2000.
Oh,
They are IC Norcom proud.
good, good. And we do want to acknowledge a lot of classes have their own scholarships, which is
Right.
wonderful. The more the merrier.
The more the merrier.
And I also mentioned that I think the athletic director is trying to put something together where classes can buy certain sections in the stadium.
Oh, okay.
I saw that on Facebook, and they're working on. He put it out there where you can buy a section. You know, each class can have a section in
Their
the
own
stadium.
section. All
And
right.
that's raising money for the school.
Get ready.
The young folks, Lynn, we got to fight against these
I
young
know
folks.
we're gonna have to get some seats.
You know, and of course, our
Lynn,
72
Herbert
classes
Towns,
have
you
a
need to sponsor our class. Herbert
Yeah.
Towns.
So that's going to be a great fundraiser. I don't know if it's going towards the alumni, but it's going towards the school, I guess.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Maintenance and things like that. So.
James, if you would indulge me for 1 minute, I know we have not devised a way of giving out our coffee talk mugs yet, but however, I have one that I really need to give out, if you two don't mind. And that's Miss Patsy Cavaness Hines. Patsy has not missed a show. She has been on every Monday morning, bright and early, always encouraging. And she would call me. She said, Leah, you need to do this, or this didn't happen. You know, so I appreciated her so very much. So Patsy Cavaness Hines, married to my friend Tyrone Hines, I am going to bring a cup by your house, a coffee talk mug by your house. And we are going to devise a way in which we're going to start giving out these mugs on our show. We have not come up with a plan yet. And I may have jumped the gun, but James, as I look at Patsy always on our page every Monday morning, I want to make sure that we thank her and honor her for always supporting us in our endeavor for this show.
Indeed, we need to acknowledge those who support us. Yes.
Yes, yes.
We're going to get your numbers up. We're going to get your numbers up. You're going to get going, and you're going to get those thousands of followers, and you're going to be out there. You're going to blow up.
From your lips to God's ear, okay?
All right.
Thank for the Alumni Association, from your lips to God's ear.
Right.
And we know we will be successful, okay?
Okay, that's it.
Oh.
It has been spoken.
Thank you. And unless anybody else has any closing comments, thanks again, ladies, for coming on. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
We invite you back at another time to talk about another fundraiser, or to do what we did today, to talk about our experiences at IC Norcom.
History.
History. We can't share enough history.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so
Thank
very
you
much.
so much.
Thank you. Thank
And I
you.
will be on tomorrow night on Zoom, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, Colonel,
Yes.
James, love you dearly, and we will talk shortly. I'm going to end this for us now. Ooh,
What, did you blow up
what
something?
did I do? What did I do? I said I was going to end it, didn't I?
Yes.
Well, we're going to see what happens here. But anyway, here we are. We're back again. Okay.
You
Okay,
got it?
people, have a good day.
Okay,
Thanks.
bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.